When Ethan signed that paper, he wasn't choosing anything illegal. He was just in a hurry. 10 hours later, his life began to fall apart.
He woke up that morning running late, surrounded by bills, demands, and a constant feeling of falling behind. It wasn't a special day. That was exactly what made it dangerous. In traffic, pressed by the clock, a simple choice appeared. A shortcut, a quick favor, a paper signed without reading. Nothing illegal, nothing immoral, just practical. What Ethan didn't know is that decisions like that don't explode right away. They wait.
The consequences didn't come like an explosion. They came like noise. A few hours later, small things began to slip out of place. A simple process was delayed for no clear reason. A system went down and no one could explain why. An email arrived incomplete, as if something had been erased halfway through. Nothing screamed danger, but everything whispered warning. Ethan felt his body react before his mind, a mild uneasiness, a subtle tightening in his stomach, that feeling that appears when something doesn't fit and you pretend not to notice. He thought about stopping, about reviewing what he had done, about asking if everything was okay. But haste won. Questioning felt like a waste of time, and moving forward felt easier. By late afternoon, in the company parking lot, something even stranger happened. A man he had never seen before struck up a conversation. Polite, calm, he knew things he shouldn't have known. The conversation was brief, but it was enough. Ethan answered out of politeness, said more than he needed to. When the man walked away, the silence felt far too heavy. And for the first time that day, Ethan was certain of one thing. That morning's decision wasn't done collecting its price yet.
After that encounter, the day went on, but it never returned to normal. Ethan tried to work, tried to focus, but the feeling of being watched wouldn't go away. Small details began to repeat themselves. An unfamiliar name appeared in a report. An email was forwarded to him by mistake or not. A coworker watched him for a little too long before looking away. Nothing was proof of anything, but taken together, it was hard to ignore. By the end of the afternoon, the question came. Simple, direct, a detail from that day that demanded a quick answer. Ethan hesitated. The truth was right there, but it would bring explanations, delays, maybe problems, so he chose the shortest path. He lied. It wasn't a big lie, nor was it planned. It was a quick adjustment of reality, something he believed he could fix later. The lie brought immediate relief, but in that exact moment, Ethan crossed an invisible line, because some lies don't ask for continuation, they demand maintenance. And without realizing it, he had turned a small decision into something far bigger than he could control.
The first lie solved nothing. It only bought time, and time in that moment was dangerous. In the days that followed, small adjustments became necessary. A slightly different explanation here, a detail omitted there. For each person, a slightly tailored version of the same story. Ethan tried to organize everything in his head, dates, times, exact phrases, but the more he tried to control it, the more confusing everything became. Fear settled in permanently. Every notification on his phone brought tension. Every new email seemed to carry an invisible threat. Sleep became difficult, thinking clearly almost impossible. He believed he was protecting his own life, but in practice, he was being consumed by it. Then the signs changed tone from subtle to formal. An email with language that was far too cold, a request for clarification that didn't sound optional. No accusations, no explanations, just questions. Questions that don't expect emotional comfort as an answer. By the time Ethan realized it, it was no longer about fixing a mistake. Now he had to prove he still had control over his own story. And for the first time, one certainty imposed itself with frightening clarity. This had gone too far to be ignored.
The problem was no longer what might happen to Ethan. It was what was already happening to the people around him. At home, the atmosphere changed without anyone needing to say a word. Conversations grew shorter, silences longer. He began to avoid simple questions. How was your day? Is everything okay? Innocent questions that now required far too much care to answer. At night, lying in bed, Ethan replayed every word he had said, every email he had sent, every omission, not to find the truth, but to ensure consistency. The guilt didn't come in big waves. It came in small details, in arriving home late, in keeping his phone face down, in flinching at the sound of his own name. He hadn't lost anything tangible yet, but he was losing something worse, the peace of not having to hide. And it was there, in that silent exhaustion, that Ethan realized continuing to pretend everything was normal was costing more than admitting the mistake.
The answer didn't come as an accusation. It came as clarity. As he reviewed everything calmly, Ethan finally saw the pattern he had ignored. That morning's decision hadn't been the problem. It had been the invitation. Someone needed an ordinary person to make a small mistake. Someone discreet, someone in a hurry, someone who wouldn't ask too many questions. And he had been perfect for it. The shortcut, the favor, the signed paper, none of it had been created by him. He had simply opened the door. For the first time, Ethan understood. He wasn't being punished for a major crime. He was being used by a structure that depended on minimal decisions to function. Now a real choice stood before him: to keep supporting a story that would keep him safe for now, or to stop everything right there, knowing the price would be immediate. It was no longer about fear. It was about the kind of person he was willing to be from that moment on.
Ethan made his choice. It wasn't the safest one, nor the most comfortable, but it was the only one that still allowed him to sleep without running from himself. Some things were lost forever. Others would never be the same. Even so, something remained intact. The awareness that it wasn't a big decision that changed everything, but the first small choice made with real attention. Because in the end, what destroys a life isn't chaos. It's the moment we stop paying attention. If this story made you rethink a simple choice, maybe there's still time.